Welcome to the Tactics Talk for the Man City away game on Wednesday night or tomorrow night. Sam, it's been a while since we've done one of these. It was getting a bit repetitive, wasn't it? But I don't know how much repetitive we're going to get today. But we're going to go into the teams and pick what we think should be starting against Man City. I would say that you are Mr. Negative right now, or are you happy to be a bit more positive going into this game?
I'm not negative or positive. I'm realistic.
Okay,
in my opinion.
Go on.
There's not much to say going into this. What's really going to change? I think we've kind of just accepted we are where we are. We'll see what happens. But I don't think anything's really going to change going into tomorrow's game. I think the break has probably just been, if anything, a bit of an ice break from the players to get out of some negative limelight, which they all deserve to be in, if you ask me. So we'll see how it goes. I expect us to, do what we always do this season anyway. So yeah, I guess we'll get into the teams.
Yep, you start then with your goalkeeper.
Hermanson, again, let's put him in there so you can hopefully have a couple of good games before we sell him. Hopefully you can put him in the shop window and he can have a few decent games. Get a few more pennies for him. Hopefully he starts to pull his weight a little bit more.
Fair enough. I'm gonna pick the team that I want to play because I don't want to pick a team that Ruud wants to play. So for me, Stolicic is going in there, and the only reason that is because the last time we saw a win, he was in goal. So I don't see that much of a drop in quality right now. I don't think Hermanson's done too much great to stop us conceding in a way. So for me, Stolicic goes back in. A bit of a change in the players. So let's just see what happens. Centre back, Sam. You've got a bit to pick from.
Again, doesn't really make a difference who I play there. Christensen, left centre back. That's pretty much what we have been playing, or Thomas, vice versa. It doesn't really matter at this point. But, I'll swap it around. I'll put Christensen centre back, put Cody in the middle, why not? Like I said, I've not put any thought into this. It's been a nice to not really think about Leicester in the international break, but we'll go back into it. I can't imagine much has changed mentality-wise. Maybe I'll be proven wrong tomorrow, but too little, too late. If you ask me, if we did something against Man City tomorrow, and I guess I put my other one as Justin. Why not put my other centre back as Justin? It doesn't hurt to change it around. Nothing much is.
So right now you've got one centre back in your back five.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine by me.
And James Justin does not want.
He was already there. Just type it. It's like the third one there.
Oh yeah, there you go. So yeah, right now because you're even your wing backs, you're having one centre back in this back line.
Yeah, it doesn't matter really. The other ones are not that good neither. The centre backs are already there, are neither good. So, how can you judge? The players that have been playing and the players that, they're not going to do any worse. I'll tell you that much. So,
no, fair enough. But again, I do feel like you need a bit of solidity in the back line with some actual players. Like you don't want to be putting what's the saying? You don't want to be putting players in square holes instead of round holes or whatever it's called. But for me, yeah, you've got to have your back three as actual centre backs. For me, again, you've not got much option, but FaZe is going back in there for me. I don't know why I'm picking him, but I don't think there's much better option. I would play Vestergaard, but I'm not doing it against Man City. I don't even want to pick Cody, but out of the two, do you know what? I'm being Vestergaard in. Because I don't rate Cody at all. So Vestergaard comes back in for me. And then the left centre-back, I'm going to Coley. Don't know what he's done wrong since that Man United game when he cleared that goal line clearance. He had to go for a game or two after that. But other than that, he just didn't get a sign in the team. Maybe because of the formation change, I don't know. But for me, Coley goes straight back in. I think he's probably our best centre-back we've got as a bad bunch right now.
Again, like I said, none of them deserve to be in the squad. If it was me and I was manager of this situation, I mean, if I was a manager, I'd first of all, I'd actually be trying to get my players to play. But I don't think Ruud is trying. I don't know if we spoke about it, but rumours of, I think, against the West Ham game when we lost, that I think about 15 of the players went out on the lash in London, and Ruud took a plane from London to Holland back to the Netherlands, and only 2 players were on the coach back to Leicester after the game. It says a lot, really, doesn't it? It shows you where their mentality is after we got drubbed again.
I think there are rumours though, because, and again, this is only me accepting and believing what Ruud said in his press conference from yesterday. He was saying that he is trying to do everything he can do, and I believe in the way.
But he's not going to say he's not doing everything. He's not going to be there saying, "Oh, I can't do it," or "I'm not good enough." Because if he does that, then that's instant sacking. He's not going to openly admit on the internet, "Yeah, I'm not good enough for this job. I'm not good enough for the Premier League," which he is. He's not good enough. He's not good enough for us as a club. He's not good enough for the Premier League. I genuinely think if we keep him in the Championship, it'll be a mistake next year. I really hope that we do not do that. Everything is signing up for that. We're going to try and push for that. I think it would be a mistake to keep him. I think you're already starting on, what we would consider a fresh season with a toxic manager and a toxic team, because a lot of these players aren't going to be sticking around. I mean, those 4 players you put in, the 4 players that I've put in so far, they're all going to be sticking around. And, we've got a few, apart from Fies, most
Christensen won't be staying.
But he probably will, though, because of his wages. We're probably paying him too much money. And I can't imagine, his agents could be like, unless a club offers you the same amount of money, you're not leaving Leicester, mate, because you're earning too much money. This might be the most amount of money Christensen will ever earn in his career. So soak it up and suck out the 4-year contract whilst he's here.
Yeah.
And see what he can do. And I think if we're not going to go down with much of a refresh like we did last time, but for me, I just think when we brought Enzo in, it was a risk, and it worked out. It was fresh ideas. Ruud, I think he's come in with 0 ideas, and I think that's just going to translate into the Championship next year. So personally, I would be sacking him. I prefer if we did it already. We should have done it 4 or 5 games ago, if we were serious about staying in this league. But I think we've kind of accepted about where we are and what we're going to do.
Wouldn't you have thought, though, but if you did it 4 or 5 games ago, do you think we would still be in this position right now? Because I feel like
they're all ifs. That's hypothetical. I can't answer.
Because the games we have, I think the record we've got under the last 4 games, I think you'd probably still have that, whoever the manager is, in my opinion.
Potentially, but again, that's an if. It's a hypothetical. It's not a fact, and we'll never know.
No.
Just like Cooper was held to the same standards of after 11 games, he went. I think we should have at least done that to the Ruud, and let alone the fact that he's lost. I think. It's going to be 15 out of 16 games losses, is it not, Reedy?
I don't know, because we're going to win tomorrow. So.
Okay. Well,
you got to hope for it, mate. Go on then, fullbacks. Or wing backs.
Yeah, Thomas then as left wing back, or Christensen. Again, they can swap. I'm sure they can figure it out on the pitch.
Yeah.
So again, Luke Thomas has looked all right for us. Nothing amazing, but compared to the other players that are out there, he's half decent at least. So, I guess he comes back into my team. He's been there the past few games. And I guess Pereira goes back into the right-back slot. I'm pretty sure he's going to be back fit, unless he gets pushed over by a gust of wind, then he might be out for the rest of the season again. But hopefully nothing happens to him before tomorrow. It wouldn't surprise me if he's still injured, but, I'm hoping he comes back, because we need a decent right-back at least. Hopefully Pereira could come back. Too little, too late again, though, isn't it? Can't help the fact that he's been injured, but could have done with him for this season.
Yeah, we could have done from this season, but I would not have played him in this role, in my opinion. But I'll go into my teams now. Going into mine, then I'm going to go Luke Thomas as well. I think the only player in the last couple of games that's actually maybe showed some sort of vital quality is Thomas, and then on the right hand side, Woyo Koulibaly comes in for me because, again, I don't know what Ruud doesn't see in him that's just equal or better than what JJ is, in my opinion. He's got more pace than him. He can get up and down the pitch quicker. He's taller. He's just a bit more built better. So for me, he just goes in. But we all know JJ will probably start tomorrow. And then we'll move into midfield. I'll start with mine, and I'll say the first one is Ndidi. I just think you need that destroyer in midfield, which we know he probably isn't as good now, but at times he has been this season when we needed him. And then I will leave it over to you to bring yours in because I'm going to go for someone different in that midfield as well.
Yeah. Again, I'm probably going to switch up a little bit. We'll see what a few people are saying so far. Let's have a look at some comments.
Mark says,
basically, who cares if we're relegated? Time to rebuild. Ruud and Ruud and all the players that don't want to be there. Put pride back onto the badge. Yeah, I mean, fairly well said. I mean, you could probably tell in the way I'm speaking who does care at this point. I'm
trying to care.
Yeah, I think the false positives. I mean, it's not a bad thing to have, but realistically, you know, it's not. We're setting ourselves some realistic standards. If we just did this tomorrow, if we just did that, when we've got Man City, Liverpool, Newcastle, Brighton. But by the time I think Brighton comes around, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, you said it yourself, really. It would be us. It's going to happen. We're going to get relegated at Forest. That's how it's going to line up for us, isn't it, this season?
Most likely, yeah.
We'll play Forest and they'll beat us, and they'll be like, right, well, that's it. We can't get enough points now. Wolves have done their job. We're guaranteed down. It wouldn't surprise me. The next 4 games, I expect a pummeling, really. I think it's going to be 15-16-0 in the next 4 games because we're just playing 4 of the top teams at the moment. You can't play Man City, Liverpool, Newcastle, and Brighton, all I think top 6 clubs at the moment, and walk away without some bruises from that. Walked away from some bruises against teams around us, let alone the ones that are miles ahead of us. So they're all going to see it as opportunities to push on. Man City are going to be there trying to fight for 4th place, so they're definitely going to want to try and beat us. Brighton again, they'll be fighting for top 6. Liverpool, as much as they probably walked away with the league, they're still like an easy 3 points against us. Just keep themselves safe. And Newcastle, they'll be flying high after winning the cup game. The best they've done in 70 years. So that's just my opinion. I think we're in for 4 very harsh defeats in a row.
Yeah, Scooby Bad says put Vardy in goal. Do you know what? He can't be doing much better than being in goal right now because he's missing every good chance he gets. Bad Mango Drossers, I'm guessing that's what you're saying is. He's a put why not as well. Scooby Bad says 100% have lost the plot. And then he says that clubs won't want our cast-offs. It is what it is, isn't it? Again, I think there's only a very slim few players that probably would go for a decent chunk if we did get relegated.
I think you find some pocket change out of some players. I think Hermanson, realistically, is the only one. I think some clubs, like your West Hams or your Fulhams might have a sniff at and say, yeah, we'll pay you 20, 25, 30 million for him. I think that'll be about it. I can't see many others going at this moment in time. I don't think anyone else deserves really a move. No one else has outperformed anyone. No one stepped up really. That was the biggest thing. Last year, that was the thing. Stepping up, doing what we needed to do. Even though we had an expensive team, but it is what it is.
Go on, then. I'm going to midfield.
Ndidi, why not put him in there? I don't know how long he's got left on his contract, but again, a bit like Hermanson, hopefully we can get a few decent performances out of him to put him in the shop window, try and sell him.
I won't sell him. I'd keep him if it goes down next season.
I'd sell him. I think we'd need to sell someone like him for the money.
I honestly don't. I think you need him in next season if he went down.
I'm sure he wouldn't want to stay with us if we went down again. He wanted to go last year, and he only signed the contracts. No one else wanted him. So another one taking too much money, if you ask me, underperforming the past 3 or 4 years. I'd sell him personally. Hopefully he has a few decent games.
Andy says here, when we get relegated, not if. It's still an if because it's still possible. Like, we're not saying it. Like, as much as I think we are down now, it's still an if because it could be a miraculous turnaround.
Very slim if.
Yes, a very slim
if. But, I'm sure there's not many fans out there that are saying ifs and not we's now.
No. Your midfielder then?
Winks. Again, I don't think anyone else. Even Winks is underperforming, so I probably would consider putting Golding in there, but it's just not going to happen. So let's not even have a debate on it. It's not waste anyone's time on that.
No.
Because Ruud's not putting in a second thought about it, so why should we at this point? So I guess you're going to rotate Winks in, or whoever scored 1 goal in training. Maybe we'll go in there. You never know. It's probably how they're looking at it. Yeah, you can move on to yours.
Ricardo. Again, I think now this role is definitely where his position's at, in my opinion. He can move up the pitch. He's got better attacking qualities than a lot of my players in midfield, in my eyes. So for me, Ricardo goes into that like inverted kind of fullback kind of role. And then when Koulibaly goes up and attacks, Ricardo can sit back into that role as well as a right back.
Is it not more beneficial to have Ricardo as the attacker though, because he's a way better?
He is an attacker in that role.
But he's not though. He's a defensive midfielder in that.
No,
role.
He's more of a one that goes up and down, like Shimari does. He can go up and down, where he has indeed to move in midfield.
I've never seen Pereira do that.
He did it last season every game.
No, he didn't.
He did.
He played as an inverted central defensive midfielder. You're playing him as an attacking mid / defensive mid.
No, he's more doing this, going from there to there.
Okay, that doesn't make sense when you got wing backs. If you ask me personally.
But can go and have four top then.
But then why have Pereira, who's your probably stronger attacking player, behind Koulibaly, who's someone who's just not doing anything?
Because when it comes to you can do it either or, but I would prefer to have him more of a midfielder because he can pass better, in my opinion. He can pass better than a lot of our midfielders.
Fair enough.
He can pass better than bloody wings, and that's saying something. But for me, again, it's not probably. You probably do have a midfielder there, but for me, while you've got Ricardo back and he has got the quality to pass the ball, you might need him somewhere up there where he can maybe do that and he sits back. I don't know, and becomes that more of attacking-minded player. But I don't know. For me, I just want to see him in the squad. We'll move into your attackers then, Sam. Take your pick because I think the strikers are impossible to not pick. Because we do know that this formation is what we're sticking with for tomorrow, from what Ruud's saying. So that's why I have put it in this way.
I don't know. Again, El Khanous, people have been, I'd probably say, glazing him a lot, praising him for a lot of things. I've only really seen him do negatives in the past 4, 5, 6 weeks. Again, I don't want to hate on him because I think there's something there, but as an attacking mid, he doesn't offer anything going forward. I think he loses the ball a lot. Whether it's been told to play like that, I always see him in our half of the pitch. I never see him in the attacking half unless he's running around. A bit like we would say about Slimani. He'd run around, but it's just headless chicken. You know, he's chasing ghosts, isn't he? He's not really getting anywhere or getting anything. So I'm going to put Buonanotte in there. Again, Buonanotte's been useless since Ruud's come in. Ruud's absolutely shifted him into a player that's just doing nothing. Great management there from him, you know, making him pretty much a goal and assist every game under Cooper, and then shifted into, I don't even know if he's got a goal or assist under Ruud. Absolutely class management there from a manager, managing to destroy our best player on the pitch at the time. Anyway, that's who I'll put in anyway.
And I would say opposite in the fact of, I think Buonanotte since Ruud's come in has been absolutely woeful for us. So
I agree, but I think Ruud's done that to him. I think there's something about Ruud that's made him do that. I don't know what it is, but I don't know how he can go from getting a goal or assist in every game. If you look at his stats under Cooper in the first 11 games, pretty sure he's on 9 goals and assists. I'm pretty sure he's still on the same now under Ruud. Don't know what
9 goals? He has not had 9 goals?
9 goals and assists.
Well, you're about 4.
No, and assists. 9 goals.
Yeah, no, I thought that was together 4.
No, he's had almost a goal and assist in every game under Cooper. It was at least 9 or 10. He was getting
I'll have to check after this because I do not believe that. But if you're saying that,
you can look it up because he's done nothing under Ruud.
Well, I know that. I'm just saying I didn't think he was anywhere near what he was.
He's the best player on the pitch under Cooper. Anyway, that's past. That's past now.
So I've gone for El Khanous on more of the attacking right mid role. Again, he's not actually a winger, but he can play in that central attacking mid role as well as bringing him right. For me, left wing, as much as I think you even said, Mabadidi has been woeful this season, and it might have been the 2 weeks off that's made me think he might have a good chance in doing something again. But for me, yeah, Mabadidi goes back in. I think you just got to put your most attacking force in that you can, as much as they've been awful, just an most attacking force that you think could possibly do something in a way. I don't know. Again, we all know Mabadidi's been awful, but for me, there's a chance, I guess. And then up top, I'm sorry, Vardy. Daka's coming in. Since the Man United game, I'm sorry. I'm not trusting Vardy again.
Who's this for? Is this for me?
Yeah, it's for you, yeah.
Is this because I'm being realistic? I've been handed this from Phil.
Mr.
My blue
Happy.
tinted specs on. And Mr. Happy.
Yeah, try it.
Right, my team now. Put it up.
Wait.
Put it up now. We're going to win 5-0. I want to put Edward up there and Daka and
So I've gone for
Taking
Daka
these
because
off.
Vardy's
like
record of trying to score goals the last 5 games has been absolutely woeful. Should have scored at least 2 against Man United, didn't do it. And the reason why we're not winning games is because we're not scoring goals. So as much as I haven't got any trust in Daka anymore, he's going up top. So that's me.
I think you might get these instead.
What? You'd rather see Vardy miss at every city possible?
I'd rather see. I don't know. Let's
Go on, you wear him and
Martin
you see what
Whitehorst. I think he might do all right up front for us.
Go on.
I'd rather see anyone. None of the strikers are doing much, but none of the players are in general.
I don't think you've got any option.
I guess I'm going to put Vardy in there. It'll be his last few games at Leicester, so hopefully he can get a goal or 2 at least to pump up his record.
I don't think he knows how to put a ball in the net anymore.
Well, you say the same for every player, especially your greatest player who's probably not even got to double digits for goals in Leicester shirt.
Yeah, so we'll let that slide.
I think, I bet I'll be surprised if he's broken 20 goals for Leicester in his career as a striker. Yeah.
It's only been here 3 years.
Yeah, only. What's this? His 4th year?
It's fine. Go on, pick your striker.
Anyway, other striker.
Jake Evans?
Again, it's not going to happen. So, again.
Yeah, but you're not picking what you think is going to happen. You're picking what you want it to.
No, I know. That's what I tell you most weeks.
Yeah, but now I've got to put I'm picking my team.
Yeah, but I get that. Picking your team's great. I'm almost trying to eliminate the conversation of, any half decent manager. I am being a bit harsh maybe here on Ruud, but he's a shit manager. Excuse my French, but he doesn't know what he's doing, so he's not going to do it. He'll probably play Vardy and he'll probably play Daka, to be honest with you. So put Daka up there. Again, I'm not saying he's got many options, but he's not really going to change much. Like you said, he's already told Man City, yeah, this is how we're going to play. Which is, it's a great thing to tell the opposition. Obviously, he's not directly told them, but he said on his press conference, yeah, we're playing the same way.
You could always do it differently in the fact if you could have 2 attacking mids here and 1 is striker. But again, I think he always seems to like that 3 up front when we're in this formation because he can use more of like a diamond-shaped style of play. But I don't know. I personally don't think this formation worked as well. As the 4 at the back, I just feel like we've created probably less chances now than we were before, and that was
we conceded
mental.
Less goals. The whole point of this.
Oh, you conceded less goals because you've got 8 players in defence.
Yeah, I mean that's again, it's how to do it. I mean, for me against Chelsea, he set up right, and we only lost 1-0. We had the luck on our side by saving a penalty. We got a penalty and we saved it. That was our chance to try and get something from the game, and finally Ruud did change something, and it didn't work. And again, I'm not going to blame Ruud for that. You can hold your hands up at some of the players and say, well, that they're also not good enough. They're not converting, they're not defending well, which is true. It's a multiple of a lot of things. It's not just Ruud, as much as I have been harping on about him today. I do also think that this season, the players are not good enough. The club has not invested well. They spent, I believe it's either Cody or Vestergaard. One of the 2 players is still on 80 to 100 grand a week, which is ridiculous considering they're both piss poor players in the Premier League. So again, I don't know where or why that number's been thrown around for 2 retired players who are on, the end of their career.
I wonder why we brought in the likes of AU and Bobby Reed and
again, it's questionable. Bobby Reed, maybe make a question for Ayew the first 10 games again under Cooper.
I'll give you the first 10, but since then
again under Cooper, since Ruud's come in, poor management doesn't have to get the best out of him. Bobby Reed,
you can get best out of him, can you?
Have Ayew?
Yeah.
Where he's doing more than a majority of players in the first 10 games. Again, go watch.
I think it was hard to not
go watch the games back. Again, Cooper had an older player absolutely running around the pitch, being one of the best players on there. Ruud not really been able to convert him. Bobby Reed not really sure why he's been brought in. El Khanous, questionable signing. If he's a prospect player for considering that we needed to stay up this year, I think someone like Smodix probably would have been better for us.
I think he's only had like 4 goals, isn't he?
How many's El Khanous had, mate?
Well,
exactly. Yeah,
I'm just.
You're just saying, but what you're saying is someone that cost 8 million from Ipswich is doing more than a £22 million 20-year-old. Modric is almost 30, and he's doing more. I think he's got 2 or 3 times goals and assists than El Kanous. These are just facts. You just got to look at the facts.
I think if you had players who actually put balls in the net from the strikers, I think El Kanous would be on the higher stats.
But that's what Modric's job, to convert the assists and goals when the strikers aren't doing it. I can't. I'm just saying. I'm not harping on, but I'm just saying. I think we've invested poorly. Skips,
shocking,
rubbish signing. 20+ million for, especially considering at the moment in time when it was between Skip or Samari to come into the team. Samari was stepping up a lot more.
It wasn't even that. You had Winks, and the fact of it, like you had Winks from last season. Why would you think to bring someone like Skip in when you've got a player like that already?
It does question you, especially when you re-sign Ndidi and you do still have Samari. If we're under, which we were at the time, PSR rules and FFP constrictions, why are we signing? Why are we wasting £20 million on a reject Spurs player? Yeah. No offense, Jim, but he was a bench warmer for Spurs.
Who's Jim?
Huh?
Who's Jim? You said no shit, Jim.
Who said that?
You.
I didn't say
you
that.
said the word Jim.
I don't know. I'm going crazy. Apparently,
you are.
Looping.
You definitely said.
Yeah, Ben as well.
I'm sorry. I don't agree with that, but.
Well, I think again when you look at the amount of sense, he's not standout really, is he? Because
he's not a standout.
He's not anything. He's shit.
But
he's also
I think
just
when
as bad.
you see him play, I don't think he's anywhere near as bad as what.
I disagree. I've seen him play. I think he is. I think he also has his moments of this player is clearly someone who played for a relegation side Italian team. It's obvious.
He's only on loan there, by the way.
Yeah, but again, he still got relegated with them.
Yeah, I heard no offence, Jim. That's what you said.
I think I meant to say no offence to him. Maybe I just
no offence, Jim.
Well, no offence to Jim then.
Go on then. Last comment of the day, and then we'll get a score prediction from Sam. Andy Medhurst says Vardy should have gone 3 years ago. I agree. I think you've got to find.
I disagree with that. 3 years ago, I think
you needed to get a replacement.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he was also our top goal scorer last year in the Championship. So, careful what you do say about the best ever Leicester City player. I think he could have ended his career by helping us get back to the Premier League. That probably could have been a good place to end it last year. But, not 3 years ago. I'd say this year he's probably found it difficult.
But years before, even the year before last, when we were still in the Premier League, we were saying that he's not the same Vardy. But you were just saying, yes, last season was a different one because he got all the goals for us. I agree that. But it was like we have been saying this for years.
I'd say the past 2 or 3 years, you probably said you could see him slowing down. I would agree. But he's definitely not get rid of 3 years ago. For me, we signed someone like Daka to replace him and Vardy, be that. Look at some other players down the line, that bench impact player. Like, yeah, he's older, but he still wants to play football and make an impact. But he's not. Vardy's starting, it's the club's fault for not having a good enough replacement. He's probably exhausted of playing at this level at his age. He's probably saying like, I can't do it, and they're saying, well, we've got no one else, lad. You're the only one that can at least score. Because even if you look at this year, someone who's not good enough, he's better than Daka, he's better than Edouard. He's better than Buonanotte, he's better than El Kanous, he's better than Bobby Reed, he's better than all the players around him up front. Because, again, if you look at his goals and assists, he's leading it in that front. He's the only one that's doing anything when it actually comes to converting. And obviously we've not converted that much in the past 10 to 15 games, which is a shame. But if you're still relying on a 38-year-old who is coming towards the end of his career, who's to blame there? That's not Vardy's fault. It's not Ruud's fault. It's the club's fault for you not investing in the right areas and holding on to Daka for 3 years and still not having a second replacement, and then signing Edouard as a last-minute panic buy. Obviously, I know he's on loan, but what else can you do about it? We were kind of doomed from the start, really. I
think Andy Medhurst is saying that we're not going to get another striker to come to the club with Vardy here, unless it's for a big payday. Like, I honestly don't think, even when Vardy goes, we're never going to find another Jamie Vardy, in the fact of he's never going to be as clinical, never going to be as good as what we did have as him, in my eyes. I think you're never going to replace him.
You never know until you find that player.
Maybe.
I think Andy is saying, obviously, we wouldn't sign anyone as,
no, I get it, yeah.
To be second best of Vardy. But we did, though. We signed Daka. He was second best, and it was bad investment at the time. We had Tom Cannon as well. We did have a second striker. We sold him in January. Why? Why sell him? Well, I thought we'd bring him back and play him because none of our strikers were doing anything, but we sold him.
Yeah.
So again, it's not Vardy's fault. It's not the players' fault that Vardy's slowing down or anything. It's the club's fault for, again, selling what we have and not investing in the right areas.
Yeah, last comment then. A person that we saw last night on the Fan Zone show, sick of life, came in and says, doesn't matter who we play, even God himself could not help us win a game. And we know that this person works at Leicester City. So me and Phil were trying to debate who is this.
At Leicester City?
He does work at Leicester City.
How do you know that?
Because he told us last night he works at the place and he knows the tea lady. So
oh well, I work.
It might be a
Leicester
player.
City too.
It might be a player.
I work there too because I said so on the internet.
Well, we were joking about. But
Yeah, I know.
you never know. You never know. Go on then, Sam. Before we
surprised
finish.
me. His name sounds like someone who works at Leicester.
Yeah,
so.
that's why we were joking about it. He just can't spell life. Oh no, he can spell life. Don't worry. I'm an idiot.
You can't spell life.
No, I can't spell life.
How will you spell Live?
Yeah, live. That's live. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on then, Sam.
What do you want me to go on? What am I going on with? Scoreline.
Score
I
result.
don't think I should say it. Could it just...
Put them on.
Okay, I'll put these on. And I'll give you my blue tinted version. 4-0 Man City.
I'll take them off. Now say yours.
8-0 Man City.
I'm gonna go for what I did say yesterday. I'm gonna go 4-3 Leicester. I think it's gonna be a mental game, but
I think that's 4 more goals than we've scored in the last 12 games.
Maybe so. But
Apart from Spurs, I think we've scored 4 goals in 12 games. So you know.
Andy says here, nothing special. Sam knows Reedy is a T-boy. Cool. Thank you for that. Ben Wesley says, for 9-0 Haaland with 6 goals wearing his protected boot. I don't think he can even play on the pitch tomorrow night.
That's why it says protected boot.
Well, yeah, but still, I don't think he can get on the pitch even if he has a protected boot.
It's a joke.
Yeah,
It's April Fool's, Rudy. Come on.
It's not April Fool's anymore. You can't do it after 12 o'clock.
Oh, is it past the threshold? Is it?
Yeah, but there you go. Right, guys, appreciate you all coming on. There's our 2 teams, as you can see. Mine's probably better, but it is what it is. Probably none of them are going to win. But there you go. See you in a bit, guys. And we'll catch you on Thursday for the post-match game reaction to the Man City game, which hopefully we can win. See you in a bit.
Good try.